Hey everybody, it's Coach Hammock coming to you from beautiful Georgetown, Texas, here in room 122 at Benold Middle School. Bringing you your flipped classroom lesson for Chapter 6, Section 5, Solving Absolute Value Equations. So far in Chapter 6, most of this has been stuff that we've done before. And so we're going to get started on this. First off, I'm going to go back and show you some of the work that we did today. If you didn't finish the worksheets or the bookwork for today, no problem. This is a 6-4. This is the GT class assignment for last night. I'm just going to go through it real quick. Just feel free to pause your video, check your work, make sure you're good on this, expect a quiz. Any of these questions could be on there. Alright, so that should take care of my GT class. Core class, or regular algebra, you just had the bookwork, so we're just going to scroll through this real quick. Alright, so hopefully you were working on that, or you've got a good idea of how to do yesterday's solving inequality lessons. Today what we're going to do, we're going to move on to solving absolute value equations. Alright, solving absolute value equations, remember you're going to have two different answers on these. These are the ones that we have to split apart and create two different equations for it. I'm just going to go through here. The equation absolute value of ax plus b equals c, where c is greater than or equal to 0, is equivalent to this statement: ax plus b equals c, or ax plus b equals negative c. And remember why. Okay, we're talking about absolute values, so it's going to always come out of this positive. All right, solve. Absolute value of x minus 9 equals 2. Well, we're going to split this up and we're going to write two different equations. We've got the positive answer right here. We've got the negative answer right here. To solve this, we're going to add 9 to each side. So when we add 9 and add 9, x is going to equal 11. We add 9, x is going to equal 7. So your solutions are going to be 11 and 7. If you check your solutions, you put them back in there. 11 minus 9 equals 2, and the absolute value of 2 is 2. If we put a 7, it's negative 2. And the absolute value of negative 2 is 2. Alright, I'm going to skip that part down there. That's what I just did talking with y'all. Alright, so we have 4 times 2x plus 8. Absolute value of that plus 6 equals 30. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to subtract 6 from both sides. When we do that, minus 6, that comes up to 24. And then we're going to divide by 4. And notice that we have to do that to get rid of everything else besides the absolute value sign. So now that we have the absolute value of 2x plus 8 equals 6, we can split it up to a positive 6 and a negative 6. To start, we're going to subtract 8 from both sides. That's going to be negative 2, negative 14. And then we've got negative 1 or negative 7 because we divided each side by 2. So now, negative 1, negative 7. If we put them back in there and we check it, you're going to see that that both of them work. All right. Checkpoint, solve this equation. I'll let you work on it. Ready, go. All right, guys, so as you can see, I came up with two answers. I came up with x equals 5 and x equals negative 17. When you put them both in there, both of the questions work out. All right, going on. Let you solve this one. Ready, go. Alright, so with this answer I came up with x equals negative 1 and x equals 1. So hopefully both of those, when you work it out, they'll both come up to 21. Alright? Alright, very good. Let's continue on. Okay, we're going to solve this if possible. Well, there's going to be a hint right there, if possible. So we're going to subtract 8 from both sides, and that's going to equal negative 3. The absolute value of a number is never negative. So there are no solutions to this. It can never be this negative number right there. The absolute value is always distance from 0, so it cannot be a negative. All right. now we're going to get into something a little bit different we didn't do last time. This is called absolute deviation. Absolute deviation of a number x from a given value is the absolute value of the difference of x in the given. Now that's a very mathematical answer, speaking, math talk, but let's go on and we'll show you. This is an example from your book. The absolute error is 0.5. Absolute error. Measured air pressure, accepted. You're always going to have an accepted value. So let's say in this case the basketball has to be 8 pounds per square inch. Well, it's got the measured is what we're going to be putting in there. Okay, and it's going to tell us a range of what it can be. So the minimum and maximum of this, after you go through and you solve it, you can have a maximum of 8.5 psi, and you can have a minimum of 7.5 psi. And let's work an example of this. Absolute deviation of x from 10 is 1.8. Absolute deviation is 1.8. So 1.8 equals x minus, and the given value is 10. So let's rewrite these equations. We have 1.8 equals x minus 10, or negative 1.8 equals x minus 10. So we're going to add 10 to both sides, and right here I believe I'm going to get 8.2, and over here I can get 11.8. So x is less than 11.8 or greater than 8.2. Alright, so now with this, you see it has the or, but you could write this as 8.2 is less than x, and x is going to be less than 11.8. Wow, that's taking what we did last unit and using it for this unit. That's like schoolwork and stuff. Alright, find the value of x that satisfies the definition of absolute value for a given value of negative 13.6 and an absolute deviation of 2.8. Alright, so let's look back. It's going to be absolute deviation 2.8 equals absolute value. Okay, absolute value for a given value of negative 13.6. Now, look at this. It's x minus the given value. Since our given value is negative 13.6, it's going to be x minus negative 13.6. Well, y'all were all in good math classes last year that taught you two negatives together equal positives. So if we rewrite this into our two equations, it's going to be 2.8 equals x plus 13.6, and negative 2.8 equals x plus 13.6. Notice the only thing I'm changing, the only sign, is with the answer right there. That's it. So y'all go ahead and solve this real quick and I'll come back. Alright, so this is the way my answer came up right here. Negative 15.4 is less than x, and x is less than negative 10.8. So any value between these 2 points satisfies an absolute deviation of 2.8. If you wanted an absolute value or an absolute deviation of 2.8, it would have to be exactly negative 10.8 and negative 15.4. But any answer between those are going to be the absolute deviation. A lot of times you'll see this. One of the places I saw it is when I was throwing the discus for the track team in high school. Your weight of the discus had to be between, or when I was throwing, guys in high school would throw a 1.6 kilo disc, and there was an absolute deviation and a variation. It couldn't be more than this below it, more than this above it. So it helps to keep things fair without it having to be exactly right. Okay, couple of questions real quick. I'm just going to go through these. These are going to be bonus points for those of you that are still watching the video. Make sure that you get these done, and we might have a little bonus, or this might be your quiz. So there's just going to be a few of them. Graph absolute value of x minus 2 is greater than 3. Okay. Solve. Absolute value of 2 minus 1/2 x is greater than 1. Okay. Solve. Absolute value of x plus 5 equals 10. Solve. Absolute value of 2 minus x is less than or equal to 2. Last one. Absolute value of x minus 3 minus 3 equals 8. Solve that. Alright guys, that's it for today. Have a good evening. Hope to see you tomorrow. Remember that I'm going to be gone on Wednesday, but don't worry, I'll still have work for you and a video for you to watch. Hope everybody's doing well, and we'll see you in class tomorrow. Bye.